Hello everyone. My name is Sayyeda Ana Hassan. I am a clinical neurorehabilitation practitioner. Today, my topic of discussion is dyslexia. Now, what is dyslexia? Dyslexia is a developmental reading disorder, that means DRD, that occurs in children with normal intelligence. It is a reading disability despite intelligence, motivation, and educational opportunities that occurs when the brain does not properly recognize and process certain symbols. This means difficulty and lexia means words. Thus, dyslexia means a person who has difficulty with words. Dyslexia is a disorder that affects millions of people all around the world. Approximately 5 to 17% of the world population is diagnosed to be suffering from various degrees of dyslexia. Dyslexia is caused due to impairment in the brain's ability to translate image received from the eyes or ears into understandable language. Dyslexia is a lifelong condition, and so it may affect an individual differently at various stages of life. It is seen that even though a dyslexic child has great difficulty in coping with normal schoolwork, he may be interested in other aspects like sports or extracurricular activities. It is here that the child needs to be encouraged tremendously so that he/she can overcome the low self-esteem. Awareness and help for dyslexia is still not available as commonly as it should be. Facts and statistics about dyslexia. Dyslexia is the most common learning disability affecting at least 1 in 10 children worldwide. This translates to 700 million children and adults who are at risk around the world. According to the estimate, 32 million in the United States, 6.4 million in the United Kingdom, and 1 to 5 million in India will potentially have dyslexia. If teachers are trained in early identification and intervention of dyslexia, 90% of those affected can be educated in the mainstream classrooms and adult dyslexia can be prevented. What are the causes of dyslexia? It has been proved that the brain of a dyslexic person is structurally and functionally different from the others. Studies have shown that the inborn wiring system of the brain related to developing mental skills is different in dyslexic, and this is the root cause of dyslexia. The wiring system of the brain or the neural pathway is the process that codes the information the sensory organs receive and stores it in the brain for future assimilation. This information is later used to access situations and develop response patterns to the situations. In a dyslexic child, even these minor acts of comprehension and usage may take a lot more time and skill than a normal child. What are the symptoms of dyslexia? Difficulty in verbal skills, abstract reasoning, impaired hand-eye coordination, poor concentration, perception and memory, impaired social adjustment. These problems result in the individual obtaining poor grades and becoming classified as an underachiever. Due to this, the dyslexic child is often labeled as lazy, low intellect, and unmotivated. Eventually, this affects the child's personality, resulting in a low self-esteem. Some of the common modes of presentation of dyslexia are difficulty in comprehending, difficulty in expression, just like writing, written or oral, understanding letters, difficulty in reading, inability to memorize, difficulty in spelling and reading, especially with English phonetic, as it is a mixture of different languages. Difficulty learning any new language. Some children may initially have fewer problems in learning a language in school, but their problems may be aggravated as they learn more intricate parts of the language like grammar or understanding of textual matter. Associated learning disabilities. Difficulty in doing some mathematic problems. Dyscalculia, impaired letter handwriting and impaired spelling, dysgraphia. Difficulty in attending to class instructions and get distracted too much, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADD or ADHD. Listening disability that causes auditory processing problems. Inability to carry out routine tasks involving fine motor skills and balance, development coordination disorders. How is dyslexia diagnosed? Early intervention is very effective in dyslexia. When any reading or writing disability is present, sometime between kindergarten and second grade, it is important to check for the other health issues like hearing problems, vision problems, and attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADHD. Firstly, so they can be eliminated. Teaching methods or approaches can be changed to see if they help. If the problem persists, an in-depth assessment might become necessary. The child's problem and all interventions tried so far have to be discussed with the teacher along with the school's special educational counselor. You might be asked to see a trained counselor, educational psychologist, or a qualified dyslexic specialist to diagnose dyslexia disorder. The child may be evaluated with a series of tests to confirm the diagnosis of dyslexia or any other issues. What is the treatment for dyslexia? Number 1. The multi-sensory approach. Number 2 option is emotional support extended by the counselor or any teacher. Number 3. Assistive technologies. And number 4 is parental support, and that is really very important, the parental support to the child. What are the complications of dyslexia? Adjusting and anxiety issues. Persons suffering from dyslexia are often inconsistent in their performances. What they can do well today, they have difficulty in repeating it another day. Even if they are making errors in their outputs, the nature of errors may vary each time, confusing both the dyslexic persons and their guides. Hence, often a dyslexic person feels more anxious throughout the day than any other differently abled person. And the second issue is also social and emotional problem. Social and emotional problem is really very important and a very tougher targeted point. Just because of dyslexic persons have been observed to be less socially or emotionally mature than their peers. This may cause poor self-image and fewer acceptances by peers. Social and emotional problems. Dyslexic persons have been observed to be less socially or emotionally mature than their peers. This may cause poor self-image and fewer acceptance by peers. A dyslexic person may react differently to social situations because of their social immaturity, causing embarrassment to others. Later in life, when language becomes one important way of expression. A dyslexic person may feel disabled in establishing emotional bonding and social relationships. Some other emotions most commonly experienced by dyslexic people are anger about themselves and others, depression due to inability to fit the surroundings, and frustration of not being able to perform to their satisfaction. Thank you for joining us and look for our other videos.